Gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks. Mr. Chairman, I rise in strong support of this amendment, and I compliment Mr. McGovern and Mr. Skelton for bringing this to us. You know, there's been a lot of discussion in the last 2 days, a lot about the deficit, and it strikes me as a bit of irony of the discussion, especially because it comes from many, and I have to say on both sides of the aisle, that do a lot to raise the national debt and the spending, and yet the debate went on and on. For some reason, I think there's been a lot of politics in that debate. The interesting thing about what's going on right now, there's no politics in this. This is about war, and this is important, and this is about policy. And it is said that we'd like to get things like this through without a full discussion, but this, to me, is a key issue. This is whether or not we will change our policy in Central America and specifically in Colombia. You know, a year or so ago, we appropriated $1.6 billion, and we went into Colombia, and we were going to reduce drug usage. It's up 25%. Drug usage is going up. They sprayed 210,000 acres, and now there are 53,000 more acres than ever before. Reminds me of Afghanistan. You know, we've been in Afghanistan for less than a year, and drug production has going up. You just wonder about the effectiveness of our program. But the theory is that we'll be more effective if we change the policy. You know, Pastrana tried to negotiate a peace, and we were going to deal with the drugs, and we were going to have peace after 40 years of a civil war. Now Uribe is likely to become president, and the approach is different. He said, no more negotiations, we will be fighting, and we want American help, and we want a change in policy, and we don't want spraying fields, we want helicopters to fight a war. And that's what we're dealing with here. And we should not let this go by without a full discussion and a full understanding, because really, there is no authority. What we're doing is appropriating something for the administration to do without a proper authority. He has no authority to get involved in the civil war down there, and you can't imply that the issue of war is granted through the appropriation process. That's not the way the system works. The system works with explicit authority. He has no authority, and now he wants the money, and we're ready to capitulate. And let me tell you, if you care about national defense, you might reconsider this. This dilutes from our national defense. It dilutes our forces, exposes our troops, takes away our weapons, increases the expenditures. Then we can go back to demagoguing the national debt. So I would say, please take a close look at this. We do not need to be expanding our role in Colombia. The drug war down there has not worked, and I don't expect this to work. We need to talk about national defense, and this does not help our national defense. I fear this. I feel less secure when we go into areas like this. Because believe me, this is the way that you get troops in later on. We already have advisory forces down there. Does anybody remember about advisors then eventually having military? Yes, this is a very risky change in policy. This is not just a minor little increase in appropriation. So I would ask once again, where is the authority? Where is it that the authority exists for our president to go down and expand a war in Colombia with nothing to do with our national defense and our security? It has more to do with oil than our national security, and we know it. There's a pipeline down there that everybody complains about. It's not well protected. It is even designated in legislation, and we deal with this at times. So I would say, think about the real reasons behind us going down there. And it just happens that we have spread ourselves around the world. We are now in 9 countries of the 15 countries that used to be part of the Soviet Union. And every country has something to do with oil. Around the Caspian Sea, Georgia. And where are we in the Persian Gulf? We're in the Persian Gulf to protect our oil. This is just a little bit more. Why are we involved with making, interfering in the democratically elected leader of Venezuela? I thought we were for democracy. And yet the reports are that we may well have participated in an attempt to have an undemocratic elected official in Venezuela. Well, I think there's a little bit of oil in Venezuela as well. So I would say, once again, please take a look at this amendment. This amendment is a yes vote, and I urge your support.
Gentleman's time has expired. Gentleman from Florida.